Hi everyone, this is my OLE for 5th grade graffiti. I'm having trouble having people connect to my Google Classroom because I created it under my district's Google Sites, and it's not letting any other people kind of come in. I think it's a safety feature for the district. But as you can see here, this is my opening slide. One of the main components that my students use is Graffiti Creator, and you can see up here at the top I've chosen to use the Graffiti Creator kind of graffiti type header. That type was created on the site Graffiti Creator that my students will be using at the end of the lesson. As we scroll down here, I have here a link that goes into the rubric that the students can be using when they're writing their opinions. So students can click on this link right here and it'll take them to their opinion rubric. As we scroll down, I've also included in here a link that goes to the Ohio visual arts standards. I've also included up here, you can see here the different standards that I will be meeting in this online lesson. Then as the students kind of continue down, the first thing that they will be doing before they learn or see anything about graffiti is they will click on this link here, which will take them into a Google Forms where they will fill out, basically it's like a pre-assessment, and there's some questions here that they're going to be answering just to get some feedback on what do the students know about graffiti before we get into this lesson. And then since it is a Google form, once they fill it out they'll submit it and I'll be able to use that for data and assessment. Now if I go back here after they complete that, then the next step that they'll be doing is I have created through Google Slides a kind of like a direct instruction lesson. So if they click on that, you will get pull up a
Hi everyone.
screencast-o-matic
We are
here
going to learn.
that, as you can see, the students will go through this. Let's see if I can kind of advance it a little bit. Let me get rid of this. And then here's some slides, and it just takes you through graffiti in New York City. It talks about, here you can see how the trains prior to graffiti becoming super popular, the trains were clean and neat and people felt safe. But then once kids started doing their graffiti on the insides of the trains, it kind of made people feel a little bit like unsafe, and we talk a little bit about that. We talk about, is graffiti art, or is it vandalism, the dangers of graffiti, but we also do talk about some of the art elements that are included. As you can see here, here's an artist that's working on a train and he's got some sketches done, and then he's going back and he's adding his fill and his highlights, and we talk a little bit about that. We also talk about, if you can see here, the condition of the train and how the city created these train washes to try to clean the graffiti off that kind of actually destroyed the train. So that's another thing that my students will look through, and as they do that they'll be taking notes. And then after they finish that up, then they take a little review, which again is another Google Forms. Here you can see they're in this one. This is going to be actually like their written test. It's a short answer test. Some of these questions are using their opinions, so that's where they can refer back to the opinion rubric to help them guide them through that. The next thing that I have included here is I actually found a great short video on YouTube that kind of continues with what I was talking about in graffiti in New York City, but it also expands a little bit. The video is only about 7 minutes, and it expands on subway graffiti, and it also talks about how the artists started expressing themselves in the subways, and then it sort of shows how those some of the artists could transition into actually making money by the skills that they developed doing the graffiti art. And it really was an interesting video the students will look at. The next thing that I've created here is this is where they can go and do their graffiti design, and it's a short video that they watch. Again, it's another instructional video on how to create their design elements.
Hello, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at some graffiti lettering basics.
So there you can see that's my video, and again, it was done on Screencast-O-Matic, and it talks through how to create the different elements in a graffiti design, how they can add fill, how they can do outlines, and this is going to go right into some of the terminology for the graffiti that they're going to create online, and then the next phase of the lesson, which is a hand lettering that will be done in the actual classroom. These same elements will be pulled into that as well. So that's the next step. And then I've also included here Padlet, which is they're going to be using for one of the final phases. Here's the opening page of Padlet, where it gives them the directions for how to get to the graffiti creator, and once they create within the graffiti creator website, then it also talks to them how they're going to save their design, and then their design will eventually be put into Padlet. You can see right here, this is a design that I did where it says Mr. Vance, and then I actually have a little example of how they can comment on other students. So this is going to be a great place that once they've created their actual graffiti, they'll put it into here, and we'll use this as like a discussion board, and the students will be doing critiques of each other's work, and that way they'll be able to kind of look for the different elements that I've taught them and see, hey, this is how one student used it, and this is how another student used it, and then we'll use that these designs that they created and put into Padlet, and they'll be kind of a blueprint for their hand lettering designs. So that's kind of where we're at with my site here with my OLE. Sorry that I don't think the link works, but I thought this Screencast-O-Matic would be a great way at least to let you guys see it. So hope you guys enjoyed this class, and I hope you enjoyed seeing my idea for my online learning environment.